Hey guys, how's it going? This is Austin, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to boost your B2B outreach using AI. Now before we begin, this video is going to be more of an overview talking about the general structure and the different ways you can use AI to boost your lead gen efforts. That being said, if you do want a more practical video where I show you guys how I do this for my business's lead generation, I do have a series about how to use AI to generate personalized outreach campaigns. So go ahead and check that out. Now the first thing that pops in a lot of people's minds when they think about AI generated outreach campaigns and just using AI to help sales in general, they think, well, isn't AI crappy? Like, I get all these spammy sales messages on LinkedIn all the time using AI and it just sucks. And what I would say is, like, I agree, their messaging does suck, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do it in a way that doesn't suck and that generates you leads and amplifies the power of you, your team, your salespeople, and just the entire organization together. So why is 90% of the outreach messages that you get on LinkedIn or email day to day so bad? What about their messaging is different from some more advanced sales teams and some things that I'm getting into as well? Well, there's a lot of things. Like, for one, the not so advanced sales team, what they'll do is they'll feed an AI a message. They'll say, hey, his name is Austin Reed. He's the CEO. He owns Horizon Dev. They're an automation company. This is my service. Generate a message. And so the AI generates a message that is like kind of spammy. It sounds like those templated copy paste messages. Yes, it has a little bit more to do around like my company specifically, so maybe it's slightly tailored to me, but I mean, it's really obvious to me when I read the message, like, that guy doesn't know anything about me. The service didn't hit me at the right time. I don't need it right now. I don't really see the value, and it's just really obvious that it's just more of a spammy message. Now, some slightly more advanced sales teams might take that a step further and start adding some intent data. They'll grab that intent data from like ZoomInfo or from Apollo, but ZoomInfo and Apollo's intent data, to be quite frank, is not that good. So it still doesn't quite hit you at the right time, and it still sounds like a spammy message. Then to add on to that, they're all using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is good, but there are better AIs that you can use to do your outreach. One like Claude A. What makes Claude A little bit better than ChatGPT? Well, to be honest with you, Claude A is not better than ChatGPT at everything. ChatGPT is definitely better at coding, and it's better at a lot of other things, but the one thing that Claude A does better than ChatGPT every single time is writing copy. Because when ChatGPT writes copy, it writes it super professional, and that's great, but it's not very relatable. And then on top of that, ChatGPT sometimes fails to put into context the person that you're talking to. So if you're talking to a CEO of a software company, they're going to use different words than a CEO of a construction company. And ChatGPT kind of fumbles getting its head around that unless you do the right prompting, but even still, Claude A consistently puts out better outreaches for copy than ChatGPT does. Okay, so you took ChatGPT and you threw it out the window, and now you're just using Claude A. Now is your outreach ready to go? Well, the answer is no. If you remember, I mentioned before that Apollo and ZoomInfo don't have really good intent data. Well, there are some data providers like Ocean.io, Cognism, and even Built With can provide some really good data that might give you an idea of intent. Built With is good because it gives you different technologies. Cognism is good because it'll give you things like funding rounds and other stuff that are happening with the business. That being said, the best intent data that you can get for you and your team is the data that you find yourself. Well, that's great, Austin, but how am I supposed to get access to all this data? I'm supposed to reach out to thousands of companies every single day, and I don't have time to hire a team to go find me all this data. Yeah, I mean, I don't have time for any of that either, but why would we hire a team for that? I mean, why don't we just use a program? We are an automation agency after all. So there are a lot of programs that can help you with this, like Appify, Captain Data Scraper, Bardeen, Instant Data Scraper, you got Zenrose, you could even use Clay to help you with a lot of these things. There are an infinite number of programs that will help you gather the data en masse so that you can use it. But why do you need all of this data? Well, the answer to that question is what makes the difference between an amateur outreach campaign and a pro outreach campaign. You see, the amateur outreach campaign only uses the copy-paste information they get from Apollo and ZoomInfo, whereas the pros, they will gather as much information as they can that is relevant to their service, and they will feed that into the AI so that the AI can make a very intelligent response to use to reach out to these businesses. What that means is not only can you reach out to more businesses in a smaller amount of time, but the outreach you do is more relevant and it's reaching the business at the right time. You know that the business is going through an expansion period because you scraped all their jobs on LinkedIn. You know how many job posts they have open. You know that that person's really into golf because you scraped all of his LinkedIn posts and fed it into an AI. And so when the AI spits out a personalized outreach, it's getting higher reply rates than a traditional SDR. Cool, so now you understand what makes the difference between an amateur campaign and an advanced campaign. But how are you supposed to set all of this up? Well, you need something to connect the dots. Now, the easy low-hanging fruit, I would say, is Clay. Clay's really easy, it's awesome, it's good to use, really great for fast testing. It's expensive. I would recommend pivoting against Clay after you know what you're doing, but for testing and really fast iteration on things, Clay is your best friend. After that, you should rebuild the automations in something like N8N or Make, or even hire a part-time Python automation guy and just say, hey, I need a script that does this, that. I just want to click a button. And then he's like, yep, I got it. And he makes the thing, and then you click the button and it just gets done. This will fundamentally change the BDR and SDR job realm. Now, BDRs and SDRs are no longer keyboard warriors typing out personalized emails and making phone calls all day long. Instead, they are automation warriors. They need to know how to do proper AI prompts. They need to know how to grab information. They need to know how to set it up on campaigns. And they need to know how to test campaigns at scale. Instead of an SDR reaching out to 100 people a day, your traditional SDR is going to be able to reach out to thousands of people a day. That could be hyper relevant, hyper targeted at the right time, and much more effective than what happened previously. Now, when you start to reach out to thousands of businesses a day, another problem starts to manifest, and that is tracking all of the data from all of the outreach efforts that you're making, because you want to know exactly when people are dropping off so that you can tweak the messaging and tweak the AI prompts so that you get the result that you want. So if you're not getting enough replies off the initial email, change the subject, change the email content, change the call to action, make sure that it's very, very simple and to the point. Once that's done, do the second email. If they're not hitting you up by the second email, they're probably not going to hit you up. That's the truth. After that, how many people are showing up to the meeting? If there's a lot of people showing up to the meeting and your no-show rates are very low, then you're doing good. But if your no-show rates are dropping, well then, are you doing a warmth campaign to help pre-cook the leads before they hop on the call, to remind them of why you're valuable and to break down their pain points before they even show up? And so that's why I recommend that any business that goes down this road of doing massive outreach at scale, that they have their own personalized database where they can track all of this information, all the positive replies, all the show up rates, and everything with Python scripts or N8N or Make or something. So it's really, really easy behind the scenes, being tracked. Nobody needs to enter any information in a CRM anymore. CRMs are almost getting to be a thing of the past. Something like Supabase or NoCodeDB or even just having a normal Postgres server would help you out a lot in those realms. Now, if you don't know anything about that, great. That's where it would be smart to hire a database engineer to help connect whatever it is, your Clay tables or your N8N or your Make or whatever it is you're using to the infrastructure you're using to not only save all of this reply rates and analytics about your outreach, but also to save all the scraping you're doing, because that is valuable information that costs a lot of money. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions at all or any video requests that you'd like to see in future videos, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day.